Hey people, positive poll. Here we are on Wednesday, January 5th, 2022. And as I continue my investigation into the activities of these sad sack Satanists, these creepy chameleon Canaanites that are aimlessly running around in circles, these American Nazi Reptoid Camaro Clown Club stalkers. You should have seen it yesterday, folks. A simple trip up to San Diego to help my son out, and literally army of perps. And look, they come in all shapes, styles, and forms. And it's funny because I get right up on most of them, and I try to make them talk, and they're dumb as rocks. They can't do shit. It's a snitch society up in the United States. It's been that way. Go look at my videos from years ago on YouTube, which nobody was allowed to watch. I will keep continuing explaining how this works. Now, my grandfather, Noel Dwight Lindner, the Navy chaplain, who unfortunately knew too much, he knew that his family got ran out of Bavaria, Germany, with these other German families, not just mine. Between 1860 and 1880 were the bulk of these families. They would have ended up in New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Illinois, Wisconsin, and certainly other areas. But the point is that these individuals that left Germany, they'll, million excuses. We know about the Austrian-Prussian War, 7-week war, other dynamics, the Jesuits, just everything. And what I always find odd is everybody keeps bringing up the Nazis, right? I clearly, when I explain some of this weird stuff, you people know, and it drives you crazy. I can see that because you don't think that there is no American Nazi reptoids running amok in the United States, getting ready to pull the plug on the rest of, I don't know, no one's fighting back as far as I see. It's like a little dust up here and there, but you're all going to bend over and take it like good little boys and girls up there. So people that came before us tried to raise alarm bells of what these assholes were up to. Now, my grandfather graduated Princeton. He was there during the exact time from 30 to 34. This is when Tesla, Einstein, von Neumann, the rest of them were walking around over at the Advanced Institute of Studies. Now, with that being said, we know that was separate from Princeton, but it was on the campus. So anybody would have, I'm sure, had at some point seen these people walking around, because what were they doing? They were underground, coming up into their offices or their laboratories. No, people. So the point is, as you further down this conspiratorial road, it's littered with good men and women that didn't like what they saw. So how my grandfather started to beat back the Satanists, this is an article from, I don't know, I think it's the Brooklyn Eagle or maybe New York Times, February 1st, 1935. The Reverend Noel Dwight Lindner has announced a series of 6 sermons which he will preach at the morning services of St. James Episcopal Church. The topic of the series is why we believe in Christianity. Now, with that being said, he gave it the best he could, and he paid with his life on August 8th, 1961. He got taken out. He knew too much. He was friends with Forrestal. We know what happened there. He was in charge of the Naval Chaplain Reserves Office in D.C. at the time of his death. Smack dab in the middle of this MK Ultra nonsense. He would have counseled vets, him and his fellow chaplains, and the stories they would have heard from these individuals would have left them very concerned about their fellow humans. Now, we need to take periods of time, though, because we can't get lost in all these details. And this is where social media is leading everyone astray. Yes, the Anunnaki is nice, the cuneiform tablets, the hieroglyphics, the artificial intelligence, and yada, yada, yada. What I want to know is why I'm the only one left with these implants in me. How come no one can conclusively say that there's something going on? I got these tracking implants in my teeth that vibrate. I get woken up with my ear pulsating all the time in the middle of the night. But yet, people out there pretending to be me, saying, oh, Montauk this, Montauk that, but they don't talk about implants. Do you realize if you're a satanic ritual abuse survivor or you're a female that was monarch programmed and they couldn't kill you, or you're walking around, you're going to have implants in you. You get this through your thick heads, people. So the deal is, when you open up your yap and you say that you think you were part of some secret government experiment, you realize that there's only a couple ways this goes. And if you're walking around, guaranteed there's at least a tracking implant in you, but more than one. So as we get further into this, I've done these videos. They're on YouTube. No one was allowed to watch. So look, this is what I've been preaching myself for now, going into the 7th year, walking around Rosarito Beach, Mexico, telling these people that you're dealing with the satanic ritual abuse survivor. Yes, these reptoid Mexican authorities and the American Nazis that prop them up down here run around and slander me and say I'm crazy, stay away from me. And they created this so-called community watch, which yesterday in San Diego, if these are the type of community watch people they can recruit, oh my God, they're in big trouble. Can you imagine that? The snitch society. Oh man, these blood money. They don't know. They have no clue about blood money, all right? Look in Leviticus, you assholes. So what we do is, see these people that try to pretend to be me, or the frauds that they came and they're all gone now. Look, most of them are gone to targeted individual community. Didn't even once give a hoot about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that's who pulled my feet out of the fire. And when you go down this road, you come to Deuteronomy chapter 18. Thou shalt not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, charmer, consulter, familiar spirits, wizard, necromancer. All these are an abomination. So what happens is, you take this seriously, and hey, look at any street corner in the United States. Pick any city, Miami, Chicago, Denver. There's always a psychic reader on every street corner. If you're going to these types and it's 2022 and you're being drugged through the mud with these Satanists, because look, they know their time is almost up, but they're going to make everybody else miserable with them. So you're going to want to do one or two things. You're going to take Christianity seriously, that is a possible way out. Because look, we're still not in the thick of the tribulation. That has yet to come. But I did predict these fenced off pens back in 2016. You can go look at the videos on YouTube. They're there. But it doesn't matter anymore. It's a done deal. So what I'm going to do right now is, because I'm in a funny mood today, I'm going to, get into this Montauk thing again. Now, let's look at a couple things that I am interested in my investigation. So Nixon, I couldn't get this article. I couldn't pull it up. I just have the cover. It's from August 10th, 1968, the Montauk Strategy. And Nixon was out there on Long Island. And interestingly enough, when my family left Bavaria, Germany in 1868, they came to a place called Washington Square. It's now called Hempstead, New York. And I found this out the hard way But what happened is there was a newspaper article that actually laid it out with my family coming from Bavaria, who they were, and there's no turning back. I've got the article because these individuals apparently, uh, look, they owned a lot of land out there, and as you further investigate my family through the end of the 1800s, they were all civic leaders trying to be good Americans because, hey, they thought, we got to get out of Europe. It's getting ready. It's a powder keg. But what's interesting is Uncle Carl and Nixon. I have all these pictures of them together. I don't get that because Nixon was probably the only president that wasn't a pedophile. Well, at least we're supposed to believe that. But the thing of it is, Montauk, all right, August 10th, 1968. Now we know, look, he was out there for the whole radar setup and everything and the concerns over the Russians' activities. And, it had nothing probably to do with this secret experimentation going on underneath. But one would scratch their head and think, did Nixon know anything? Maybe. I claim that Watergate was just to sideline and cover up MK Ultra nonsense that was being exposed. Just, sensationalize some crazy event called Watergate, and we'll all forget about MK Ultra. And guess what? They were right. So you see out Montauk, this is in 1984, April 19th, 84, you see some movement over there on Montauk on the Camp Hero base. And there's interest of doing certain things. But here's another interesting article about the Nike bases being set up at Montauk. It talks about Camp Hero, almost 500 acres, is still owned by the federal government. It was the site of an artillery installation in World War II. And look, we know about all this. So the thing of it is half of camp is now occupied by the Air Force radar station. So we know that they were set up by 63 with some of the, equipment. And the conspiracy goes around 1970. We've all listened to Preston, Little Stewie, and Uncle Al, all right? And around 70, it had to go underground, yada, yada, yada. But here's what's interesting. Here is August 1st, 1985. East Hampton will hold a public hearing at the courtroom, blah, 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 and will consider an extension of the current boundaries of the existing Montauk Fire Protection District. Now, I look at this. They get into the thing about Camp Hero and all that. Here you see a map. But what I get in, I look at this one way, folks. It's a crime site. It's a crime scene right there, okay? And the criminals they had a couple years to clean it up. And that's why all of a sudden you see this big myth. Remember, there's conspiracy theories because something did happen that needs to be glossed over, covered up because there's victims that are still alive. And the whole memory erasure thing is real. Edom, electronic dissolution of memory, Delgado, West, these other assholes, these psychos, intellectual barbarians. So now there's this interest, all right? We know the Montauk Project crashed, and the first myth is how it crashed, all right? First, it's von Neumann is telling Duncan and Edward Cameron that we can send you back to the Eldridge. You need to smash the equipment because we can't do it on the 1983 end. Meanwhile, at the same time, people, Preston and Duncan are conjuring up Junior that's going to smash all the equipment and everything. Do you see how none of this adds up, that you're dealing with a bunch of dumbass, hybrid, creepy chameleon, Canaanite hybrids, all right? And we'll get into that, all right? So let's look at this. So now they have to clean this crime scene up, folks. because if anybody listened to my video from a couple years back on YouTube, all right, and I'm gonna do it one more time. It's not gonna be on this video, but what exactly may or may not have happened. But hey, you know, you take it for what it's worth. Now let's look at this. Here's the radar site, and this is actually a picture that is from 2 years ago, from a couple's trip out to Montauk, and they're at the lighthouse. So this is looking west. Very dense. It's still very wooded, very difficult to try to maybe escape from there, or maybe if you were, didn't know the area, easily get lost. It's swampy, a lot of wetlands. As you see, they're concerned about mosquitoes, the people that live out there during the summer. So that's why they want to, fill in some of the marsh area. But I find this interesting. Now, I want to say something concerning my guys over at Montauk is Strange. Brian Minisick. And if I pronounced your name wrong, I'm sorry. I am going to leave you guys out of my IRI, okay? I'll just put it that way. Now, you guys, it seems that you approach this as young, curious individuals that live out there and started hiking, investigating, roaming around Camp Hero. Now, this is what's very, very interesting, though, is how you got hooked up with Peter Moon. Now, I don't know if you realize that's not his real name, for one. All right, this asshole, Peter Moon. Now, this is where, you're not going to be happy with me, okay? Peter Moon's a cover-up artist. Now, way back when, you tell me that you contacted him, part of everybody's job is they want to know when that day, the day it crashed, and these so-called Montauk boys scattered, okay, I'll put it to you this way, there would have been people that would have seen these kids running around, probably hysterical, saying that there was a murder, that these asshole, I don't know what you would have called them, but these freaks are running some psycho Frankenstein lab over here, and they're committing horrific crimes. And so the people out there in Long Island on that day, the summer of '83, whenever it happened, August 12th, I was looking for newspaper articles concerning certain things, but nothing. People would have been rounded up and, trust me, figured out who saw what, when, so that way they can, sweep up the evidence. Just sweep it out into the Atlantic Ocean there off the bluffs. Now here is one of the newspaper or television blurbs concerning the government handing over Camp Hero and turning it into a state park to the New York State. And thank you to Montauk Strange for having this. But here, I want to show you guys something. Look at the newscaster. Now, do you see what you're looking at, people? Now, for those of you that think you live in a world that's just there's humans, and some humans are nice, others are mean. What do they tell you? People are mean, they're rude. They don't, they're sociopathic, they're narcissistic. They use all the terms that they try to label people. But when I look at these freaks, these hybrid freaks, and how, man, they pulled the wool over our eyes. The most, if you did a Zogby poll or a Reuters or a Associated Press poll on how many people understand that there's these freaks running around that aren't human. And when they serve up their phony baloney, you got a lot of problems, specifically on their exposed skin, the eyes, the electromagnetic distortion. So here this freak of nature is doing her little news clip about Camp Hero, the crime scene, back on, I would say, hey, well, what, 1970 through August 12th, 1983, we don't know what the hell these American Nazi reptoids were up to, right? Because the aliens were there, right, folks? Or no? Right? The Greys, the little Greys, remember? What do you think, people? Now, no one notices this. This is just bizarre. And it's so, like, again, with these reptilian shapeshifter numbnuts over on YouTube. Man, none of it's taken seriously. All right, so look, you're getting the picture, folks. Now, again, with Al Bielek, and look, I hate when this does this, because look, that's not supposed to be like that. That's an indication of some type of technology that this so-called individual, Al Bielek, aka Edward Cameron, uses. And if you don't understand who you're looking at, what you're looking at, you're going to be in big trouble. Now, remember, these geometric patterns right here. How's that happen, folks? How's it happen? I'll tell you how it happens. This freak of nature, this lazy lying lizard. Everything you've heard about Montauk is BS. Not everything. Look, how they sprinkle a little bit of truth. Now, if I could get out to Long Island, to Camp Hero, and hook up with some of these guys that are trying to keep this Montauk myth alive, I would be very interested. So what I'm going to show you next, so I can wrap this up without making it too long, little Stewie, these freaks of nature, he's next. This guy's going to be on life support soon. You don't get in bed with these Satanists and get out alive. Okay. Now, the numbnuts pretending to be me. Ooh, the secret space program. And these slippery, slimy super soldiers. Take a good look. All right? Now, these slippery, slimy super soldiers that are fighting the galactic wars. Man, I can't believe what I lived through for the past 6 years listening to this garbage, all right? What happens is, this is the way this works. I'll show you. All of them, look, it's all BS, all right? It's all BS. Now, again, if my face ever looks like that, you let me know, people, all right? So let's get to the point that I want to show you. If you were part of Montauk, plain and simple, you would have been put through satanic rituals. You could produce a picture like this. You would have these alien insectoids hanging around you, all right? It's the garment spotted by the flesh. I don't know if you understand that, people. And I'm not doing a very good job today because I'm no sleep. But I'm doing a video for anybody that cares. I'll leave the comment section open and all you assholes can show back up. Maybe, someone might say, hey, look, we understand what you're saying. We hope, things go well for you. See, that's the problem. When there's no more humans left, there is no more humanity, folks. You think that everybody walking around there is human, but the garment spotted by the flesh, and no one knows what I'm talking about. Freaking nature. Okay, now you would be able to produce. Let's look at Al again. Look at his eye. How you get the splotchiness. All right. These people were put in place. They're so far ahead of us. It was a done deal probably by the end of the 50s, 60s. Well, that's Chuck Missler. So look, these slippery, slimy Sleazy super soldiers. What they had to do is, because there's still satanic ritual abuse survivors walking around, I can't be the only one, but I seem to be one of the few on social media taking all the hits. The Super Soldier Summit. You have the little Draco Ditz, Kerry Cassidy, all right? They get them all lined up. Ooh, Max, I've done these videos years ago, folks. So this is why when I do this, it gets me wound up that it's so sad that these people are pretending to be something they're not. Now let's look at the Draco, the little baby Draco hybrid, James Rink. So what happens is they always got to touch themselves, but look at his hand. And see how you got the electromagnetic field by his knuckles? I don't know if you can see that. He's freaking out, and that's why he's looking down, he's fidgeting, he's antsy, he's having to correct whatever it is he thinks is wrong. Now look down by what I tell you about the graying and all that. That's the fallen DNA. Get it through your thick heads, people. And what happens is, once they start lying, these lazy lying lizards, everything goes haywire with their little pea brains. And that's when you get all this demonic eyeball distortion. It's just freak of nature. Freak of nature. And if I start to look like that, folks, you let me know. All right, people? You let me know. Brad, you little bitch ass. Brad the band. Where are these people? Where do they dredge you people up from, really? Look at this guy. Turns into Groucho Marx. How's that happen, you freaks? Little baby Hitler. He's probably got some of Hitler's DNA in him. The little baby Draco hybrid James Rink trying to pretend to be me. Yeah, okay, with your big visit with Preston. Yeah, I could just imagine what went on up there. So the deal with Montauk is that with these alien insectoid things, all right, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. There's the reptilian. See, you would think these assholes pretending to be me could show you these flyovers and what explain them. Why are these UFOs with the electromagnetic fields around them always hanging around these perp planes? And they're hanging around me, folks. See, I wish I could just throw together a spaghetti recipe video. How would you like that? Forget about this conspiracy stuff. Forget about me being part of MK Ultra. Forget about these implants. That's what they want you to forget about, folks. Act like these victims, because that's the case. I can make my case, but there is no legal system. They're all bought and paid whores, judges, lawyers, doctors. Oh, can they make false progress reports? Can they sideline people? There's my very first one. Interdimensional entity capture. October 22nd, 2016. The flyovers started back in July 14th, 2016, and they continue up until this day. Now, see the fabric of the sky starting to, who knows? It's just, look at that. All right, now these, let's real quick, these, where are we? Okay, right here. Whoops, there we go. All right, this is in a lot of my videos. It's a screen capture from a video. iPad's not working. There we go. All right. I have 5 distinct anomalies that occur during these flyovers. And here's one of them. Now, watch this. Here is Montauk Strange's video from about maybe 5 months ago. And look what's cruising around. Let's make sure we get right up on that. The exact same thing. So I can continue to do these videos and beat up on the people that are gone. Look, if you dare start opening your mouth about Montauk, it could be a curse, bad luck. Now, I said I'm going to leave the Montauk Strange guys out of this and give them a blessing. But with that being said, I'm not going away, people. Ooh, the big investigation. Yeah. What a farce. FBI, CIA, these assholes. So, yeah, these guys did a good job, but here's a problem right here. This is supposed to be 1987. Right there. There's Al Bielek in around 1990, I guess, somewhere. But here's his picture he provided that he said him and Preston were there in the summer of '86. But look, everything is totally manicured, cleaned up. And here's from the Montauk Strange guys in May of '87. Okay? Look at it. Come on, how could that growth happen in less than a year? Al Bielek says this is the summer of '86 when him and Preston Duncan, all right, in his presentation. I don't know what to tell you. And they're supposed to be junior, bunker 113. I wish I could do these videos better, but I'm just frustrated. I'm getting tired of this. It's just such a joke. And you got this douchebag, Joe Lafreno, this out-of-work actor that's supposed to work on Camp Hero. Now he's part of the Montauk Project, but he can't show you any pictures. They're not hassling him. He's allowed to have a life, work, money, bank account, which, don't worry, folks. Yes, the worst of the tribulation has yet to arrive, but don't doubt that it's not. So anyway, the good people out there in BitChute, God bless you, all right? I want to be positive, Paul, but we cannot stick our head in the sand, and we have to understand Scripture. So what I'm going to go over next, I am going to do a good Bible study concerning the supporting Scripture as it relates to the tribulation. With that being said, I gotta put the kibosh on this one. God bless.